Så vad betyder det här? Att vi bara har nått halvvägs i det här fallet? What? Jag trodde vi gjorde det tidigare. Nej.
Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress to my courtroom?
Ha! A judicial assistant, and a woman, no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that must hand over to the defense.
Ha! You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency...
I am most grateful.
Who exactly are you?
I'm sorry, there is no time. Please, simply accept this for now.
What is it? A report about something written in English.
It's Giselle Brett's research.
The English woman's?
After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she?
Måste komma på vad för röst hon ska ha. Undrar om hon kommer bli en huvudkaraktär i det här spelet. Så kan ju inte ge något för långt.
So does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case?
I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Oh no, of course not.
Special characteristics of curare ray and its effect on human subjects. Interesting.
Curare, what is that? I've never heard that word before.
Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think you'd be valuable, please cast your eyes over it.
This is wonderful, thank you.
Giselle's report.
Goodbye then, and good luck.
Okej, ser ut som att hon inte kommer vara med här nu mer i alla fall.
You've had a long enough counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense law now one last time. Does either side have any evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly strong enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Rhinosokel, we're out of options here. This is really our very last chance.
Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett. Yes, Your Excellency. If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer. It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid... if not so very long until tea time.
Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear.
I realize it was phrased as a question. However, I must ask you to treat that as an order. I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, counsel, what is the new evidence that demands the court's attention?
Här. Ska jag ta och kolla lite på den först kanske? Poison made from bark of a certain tree in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient time to incapacitate their prey. Så här har vi då att det är ett gift som inte finns i Japan, antar jag. Vilket är varför de inte hittade någonting. Instant paralys. Wound, inte drickbart då. Undrar om det har att göra med... Det står att den måste gå igenom ett sår. Så jag antar att... Jag vet inte om det ska ha någonting med att han hade varit i tandläkaren och skit. Så han hade massa sår i munnen. Det var så det kom in. Så nu är jag ett steg före. Jag vet redan vad de kommer säga. De kommer säga att ja, men han drack ju. Det står att man måste få ett sår. Och då ska jag säga någonting med... Han var ju hos tandläkaren innan. Så han var ju helt vackad i munnen. I don't know. Presentera det där.
Yes! Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at the Ume University, doing research. Research by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, counsel?
Okej, ja just ja. Jag glömde nämna att det var hennes där, så det var hon som var där i Sydamerika. På det sättet var det.
A toxin known as a curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
What complete and utter nonsense. Curie, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country.
It doesn't exist. Correct, which means no matter what test the police can do for toxin, they never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available for that, so they can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order. Counsel, does this deadly poison truly exist?
According to this report, authored by a visiting research student from England, curare has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that this is reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lay the arrows.
The report states that it's produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. Explorers. It claims that the animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that sum it up, Miss Britt?
Trumpery! These aspirations are utterly trumpery. To start with, the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison. He would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain.
According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that the curare was used.
Explain yourself, Counsel.
The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all.
How terrible.
Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed.
But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death.
The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respirations to fail.
Respiration?
In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move.
That's
hideous.
To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison.
And you are suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison?
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense.
If I may.
All these facts, you think you're so
Shut up! It is you who must be taught.
Oh, of course. Damn lady.
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the result as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act.
Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual.
Whatever do you mean?
Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act, wouldn't you agree?
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
Ha 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 ha. What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. May I borrow that bottle for one moment, please? Oh, well, yes, I don't see, why not? Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
Sorry.
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of all it now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers. Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair.
Well, it's like I said. Hon har inget sår i munnen, så hon klarar sig.
Goodness! Whatever is the matter? You look quite stunned.
So, no cure. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying?
Ha 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 ha! You look quite incredulous, little boy. But of course, that's simply the truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind.
Good.
Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency. Yes, Miss Brett. I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough time for this furtherance of friendship between our countries. Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all your assistance have been given.
This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how did she swallow a whole glass like that and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for an interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she wouldn't have keeled over dead. Come on, Runosuke. We have all the clues now. That bottle of water
Contains poison.
The culprit did put curate poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refused to change its position.
You're serious?
Fool! Are you blind? There is no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw
Miss Brent drinking the water from it. That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think. And I believe that complication can be explained.
How exactly?
I need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defendant truly intends to assert these claims, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed?
Where is it? Här. Kommer säkert fråga vilken sida. Så det är sida 2.
Yes! The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Britt's own research report.
That's not a valid explanation.
No?
After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Susato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle?
Det här då? Antar att det var sida 2.
We've been hearing a lot about this curare poison, and it's left me curious about something.
Oh, counsel.
Well, it sounds as though the indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to lace the heads of arrows that they shot at whatever prey they're hunting. So we've been led to believe, yes. And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat?
Yes, a good point.
So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Good gracious, counsel, no, that would be madness. But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound. Through a wound, you say? I see. That makes sense. Yes, the mention of that particular detail seems a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what was written like this. When the curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Curie's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little rapscallion.
Well, Rinosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be.
Really? Me? A lawyer?
All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it...
Shut up! So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some fact he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish?
Flaw?
As even your brain managed to deduce, Curie is safe to ingest. It seems unlikely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric sucker, what a thing. So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? Ah.
That's right.
Good gracious. That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? Order! Order in the court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way.
Are you trying to suggest?
Yes, this Curie poison is completely irrelevant to this case and trial.
That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Objection! Objection! I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence. As we know, now that the poison is completely harmless when I ingested, why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the curare?
Okej. Jag förutsåg det här länge sedan. Tandläkargrejen, vad står det någonstans? Ja, jag presenterar.
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners. A fatal difference. The toxic effects of curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound. So, for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Miss Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day.
So that's it. You used that knowledge to orchestrate this.
Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly, I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile. What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. No. I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence might just have been tragically destroyed. No.
What is it? What happened? It's the English woman. She has smashed that bottle, and in the Supreme Court. What a terrible blunder.
Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from the bottle as possible, at once. You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can't thump the bench and the throat as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle or not. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Oh, of course. You are referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady. That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day. No.
That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it is as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor is sitting with his back to me, so of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No! You killed the victim that day, using curare. And then, in order to frame Rinosoku Hanarodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stand remain unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Rinosuke Naruhodo.
This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her, but now, is she really going to get away with it? The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene.
Rinosuke!
Yes,
We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it.
what? What do you mean?
We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head.
In my head?
You told me before that your powers of observations were the one thing you could really depend on.
Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head.
So think back now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell.
What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this crime scene in my head, could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilsons killer?
Yeah, I guess so. Inte vad det är. Så vad var det där blod? Syns inte det på den svartvita bilden eller?
Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have covered another clue.
Ha 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 ha. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Rinosuke? Come on then, let's wipe the smug smile off that English woman's face with some evidence.
Alright, I can't wait. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving to the truth about all this. It's here somewhere, the clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been, is.
Well... Är det uppenbara att det bara är blodet eller är det en red herring? Jag går på den. Se vad som händer.
Inspector Hosanaga, answer me this. Yes, what is it? Oh, he's still miles away, probably thinking about this bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for the perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, The plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day?
Wait a minute. What are you going?
Shut up! Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw the scene shown in this photograph print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a splattering of blood.
What?
Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at that photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him.
För att skottet kom inte ut på andra sidan. Så är det logiken? Ja, jag tror att det står så i autopsy-rapporten.
Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were. Yes, ale, Brett.
I beg your pardon?
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. It's the court seriously expect to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing.
This could be the moment my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean? Yes, I took the plate in the interest of preserving the evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a blood stain of Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now. Inspector, the court wished to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately. Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here is what you ordered, the steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't. Quickly, Inspector, the blood man! Show the court! Of course, examine the plate at your leisure. Where is the blood? No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible. I know I saw it. I'm sure of it. It was right there, on the table, behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate. What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you.
I couldn't agree more. in the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we finally have reached a conclusion to this trial. Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at the courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over.
This sorry-looking snake reveals the facts to all clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
När man tog fel. Han sa ju att han plockade upp en steak från de där andra som åt. Tänk om den har bytts på något sätt. Från de där andra som åt.
Was the plate I saw or thought I saw just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost.
Real talker! It's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what.
Believe in myself, really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection? That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all?
There is another clue.
Your Excellency, please wait! The plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that revealed a shocking truth.
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak.
Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examinations of evidence. I will not give a ruling until I completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beef is the new clue to be found?
Okej, jag vill kolla och jämföra med bilden. Jag misstänker att att vi fått fel. Den här ser betydligt mer hel ut. Eller? Vänta, fanns det någon till bild? Här har vi en till bild. Eller är det bara att det här med att blodet saknas? Och att det betyder att den är... Well, it seems like it's Är det åt rätt håll då? Den här är på högra sidan där. Är den här också? Nej. Ja. Vinkla runt. Nej. Jag ska kolla på den igen. Den här symbolen är på högra sidan, den här på vänstra sidan och så är det... Wait. Kan jag inte kolla nu eller? Oj, oops. Jag verkar inte kunna kolla. Jag trycker väl då.
Huh? What in the world is this?
I think it's a Koban coin, and the hallmark is from the Hawaii era, I believe.
No, I don't mean what is it? I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hawaii Koban?
Yes, and apart from the meat uses, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable.
This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of Hawaii Koban.
Okej. Så det har väl att göra med den där som samlade och sålde grejer kanske. Så det här är... Så här ska det vara bevis på att det här är fel tallrik.
I've heard pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bullion in bullion.
And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary though. This means...
Okej, presentera den.
Good gracious, that's...
Koban!
What on earth?
Ahoy era one at that!
Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you order at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up! What are ridiculous questions? How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what it is, but I want to know part of it.
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat. That could simply be a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen. A rare Hawaii coin just happened to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now.
He's right, it can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency! Yes, Counsel. A rare Hawaii Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that this is who is relevant.
Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that steak.
The owner?
Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the koban was found underneath the beefsteak is...
Well... Var han... Var han som skulle byta, han som skulle sälja den. Så det är hans... Som skulle sälja den till den andra.
Yes, just the sort of person to have a precious koban like that.
No, come on, Rinohage.
Ah, you shocked me, Kazuma.
Not as much as you shocked me. We've already heard about the koban in this case. Don't you think perhaps it's the same one?
Yes, of course. I just couldn't quite find the right name.
Then consult the court record, please.
Well, seeing as you ask so nicely.
Well... Sorry. What's the other one?
Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and the owner Rasutai Kurokato-san. Curie, as in Mr. Cucumber something. Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable. Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Yes, Your Excellency.
I remember him saying that he was up to something with his koban coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired.
That's interesting. Yes, it was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing?
Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the whole koban, my prized coin.
Then this Hawaii era koban, do you mean to tell me?
No. Please, why would Kurakata-san's koban be sandwiched between the victim's steak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Which is why I'm asking to bring Kurakata-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment delay. I can't believe we've come back around to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this koban, we'll find that is a key element in this case.